Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're going to talk about emotional obstacles to success. Now, I named this video and I called it Society Hates Beginners, because a lot of people are afraid to be a beginner, right? They're afraid. They're always, feel it always feels like, oh, if unless I gain some traction in life, or unless, I am an expert at something, then I shouldn't even try. When in reality, you can't even get good at something unless you fail, a couple of times, or maybe even a couple hundred or 1,000 times before you get the hang of something. I mean, there are many late bloomers in life, like Samuel L. Jackson. I think he started acting when he was in his 40s, right? Colonel Sanders, he didn't make KFC until he was in his 60s. Yet, there's this thing, I don't know if it's something in the water or in the air, definitely from, having been in the school system, that makes us or brainwashes to believe that unless like we're an expert or we have money or status or we already have 20 years experience, then don't even try, right? Don't even try. And a lot of that just comes from the social conditioning from our youth, right? Now, I can tell you some personal stories of mine where family members, parents, siblings, childhood friends, everybody was telling me I'm an idiot and that I shouldn't even try. And this was like in my early adulthood. I mean, I was just sharing ideas that I read somewhere, and then, for some reason, I feel like they felt threatened and they had to kind of tear me down. It's like, well, why would you even try to do that? Don't even try because you don't have any experience. And again, where does that come from? It comes from, the one of the reasons, or one of the things that comes from, is the school system, right? The school system is this dream killing machine that tells us that we're not worth anything unless we have all the answers. And you ever notice how, like, in school, especially like in elementary, K to 12, you're only allowed to take a test once. And so it's like saying, okay, you're not worth anything until you get all the answers right, and you have to get it right in the first try. And if you don't get it right in the first try, then the world's going to explode or something like that. And that's why a lot of your friends and family will severely criticize you for doing something new because of that type of conditioning, right? Like, you almost can think of them as agents in the Matrix. Like, in the Matrix, if you just kind of veer off the path that the Matrix has for you, then the people, like, the granny next door, or the little kid will suddenly turn into an agent and bring you in, right? But that's sometimes what it's like, where you have something new, you want to try it, you want to share with your friends because you're a little bit afraid to dip your toe in the water without some of your friends watching, to hope that they'll dip their toe in the water. And here's the thing, I had this feeling too, where I was like, I'm so afraid to try something new. I just want someone to do this with me, and I had absolutely no one do it with me. So eventually, I came to a point whether I'm going to swim or sink or swim, and I was definitely afraid to do it because I feel like everybody's watching me. But the thing is, here's the thing. Even if you do try to swim, no one else even is even trying. No one else is even trying to dip their water in the pool, right? But they're going to criticize you for trying to swim, right? And again, the obstacles to success is not knowledge, because I know that a lot of you have been watching 100 velocity baking videos and have been getting nowhere, right? The obstacle, I could just hear it in your voice, is within yourself. It's in your emotions. It's in your social conditioning. And again, society, hates beginners, right? We're all conditioned to hate beginners, but in reality, we have to embrace people at all stages of life. We just cannot embrace people who are just number one or number two, and leave everybody else behind. But that's what's happened. We've left pretty much the whole majority of the population behind. And I can kind of get into another video why people kind of embrace this society that doesn't benefit them, right? But that's what's happened. You know, we have pretty much not allowed people to grow from zero, right? And it's not that they can't. It's because people are their own worst enemies, and they feel like, hey, if I don't have all the answers at the beginning, then I shouldn't even try. But here's the bad part about that, right? Here's the bad part about being in a society that doesn't embrace people at all levels. You'll notice that there are many countries now that are shrinking, and those countries are in a state where they're telling their youth what I'm just talking about. If you don't have all the answers, don't even try. And what happens is that when you constantly feed that nonsense to your communities and your nations, they don't grow because people are afraid to grow. I'm not kidding. People are afraid to grow. And that's why our society is a mess. That's why there's a lack of leadership, right? That's why no matter what level you're at, whether you're a movie star or, just someone working at McDonald's, you always feel like everybody's going to point the finger at you, and they want the opportunity to criticize you. It's sad how it is. Now again, I embrace beginners because in many ways I feel like I'm a student myself. Now some of you all might consider me to be a coach. That's great, but I'm a student myself and I embrace the beginner label. And so when someone tries to criticize me about how I don't know what I'm doing, it's like, well, why don't you teach me? Why don't you help me out? Why don't we learn and grow together? But most people won't do that because, again, they're part of the matrix. Anyways, all right. So if you're interested in joining our group, go ahead and click the Google form link below. Or you could email us by going to the About page of the YouTube YouTube channel. If you have any comments, or I'm sorry, I think I already said that, or maybe I did. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down in the comment box below, and we will speak next time.